This young veiled Muslim woman from France was invited to a French television, where 3 journalists had meticulously prepared to humiliate her with trick questions and groundless accusations. But during the debate, they quickly realized that they had made a serious mistake to underestimate the young woman, because she destroyed them one by one with powerful arguments accompanied by facts, as you will see in a moment in this video.
The veil is not a Quranic prescription. It is an Islamist innovation because the Quran has never used the word veil. This term does not appear in any of the 3,234 verses of the Quran.
The veil is mentioned
I want
in
to
the
tell you
Quran.
that it does not exist.
The veil is mentioned in the Quran in chapter 24.
You said that no one forced you to wear a veil, and I trust you for the moment. But did you know that this is not the case in neighborhoods where young Muslim girls are under real pressure to wear a veil?
Not at all, that's not true.
You mean young Muslim girls are not forced by their families?
I think there may be people who wear a veil under pressure, but what I am telling you is that these people do not represent the majority. What you are doing is a generalization of this phenomenon, which is in fact isolated in order to stick this stereotype on all Muslim women who wear a veil.
Okay, we got it.
No, can you allow me to finish my point?
Your point is already clear.
It is clear, but it is not complete. I take this opportunity to say that the veil is not a sign of submission. I come from a family of 4 sisters. I have no brothers, and I have never had a discussion with my father about the veil. He has never intervened in this choice, which is mine.
But do you agree that the veil is not...
Can I finish my answer? We are the ones who are mainly concerned by the debate, but we have not been invited in more than 80 debates about the veil, so I think it would be very important if you had the politeness to listen to me so that I can finish my answer to the question you asked me.
In fact, the Islamic veil known as hijab is one of Islam's most controversial topics. From claiming it's a form of oppression to arguing that it wasn't mentioned in the Quran, the hijab has been subject to a lot of talk throughout the years, especially in the West. Confronted with 3 journalists, Sara El Attar, a veiled Muslim woman and communication expert, intelligently defended the freedom and right of Muslim women to dress as they wish. She strongly destroyed each of the accusations and traps of these journalists who were behaving like judges in a court. Answering the question of why Muslim women wear a veil, El Attar first began by teaching them that veil is not only worn by Muslim women, and she ended her answer by asking a question that none of the 3 journalists was able to answer.
Can you tell us, why do you wear a veil?
I'll give you an example. We often hear in public debates these kinds of questions about why Muslim women wear a veil, but what is astonishing is the difference in media coverage. I rarely hear people ask why Sikhs wear a turban, or why some Jews wear a kippah, or why some Jewish women wear a headscarf. It is known that in the Muslim tradition, women wear a veil, whether they are married or not. But I'm not sure if you know that in the Jewish tradition, women wear a veil after marriage.
Yes, but Jewish women who wear a veil are a very small minority.
So, for you it's a matter of numbers? That is to say, when it concerns a minority, it's normal and you don't ask any questions? Tell me, is it a matter of numbers or what?
To escape the question, the journalist directly launched a false claim that the veil does not exist in the Holy Quran and that it is a human's fabrication. The allegation to which Sara El Attar immediately responded with a short and clear answer.
The veil is not a Quranic prescription. It is an Islamist innovation because the Quran has never used the word veil. This term does not appear in any of the 3,234 verses of the Quran. So, I want to tell you that it does not exist.
The veil is mentioned in the Quran in chapter 24.
In fact, the journalist's claim shows that he knows nothing about the Quran. Firstly, the Quran is not composed of 3,234 verses, as he says, but it is composed of more than 6,000 verses. Secondly, the Islamic veil, known as hijab, is indeed mentioned in the Quran in 2 verses of different chapters. The first is chapter 24, verse 31, in which Muslim men are instructed to lower their gaze and be modest, because that is pure for them. The verse also instructs Muslim women to lower their gaze, guard their modesty, and draw their veils over their bosoms. It also instructs women to not strike their feet to draw attention to their hidden ornaments. The second instance is in chapter 33, verse 59, which says, "O Prophet, ask your wives, daughters, and believing women to draw their cloaks over their bodies. In this way, it is more likely that they will be recognized as virtuous and not be harassed." After destroying the journalists about veil in the Quran, his colleague intervened with another false accusation, according to which Muslim women are forced by their parents or their husbands to wear hijab. But Sara El Attar is a woman who does not miss an opportunity and listens carefully to everything her opponent has to say, and then extinguishes him intelligently.
Vous dites que vous n'avez subi aucune pression, je vous crois complètement.
You said that no one forced you to wear a veil, and I trust you for the moment. But did you know that this is not the case in neighborhoods where young Muslim girls are under real pressure to wear a veil?
I was also born and raised in a neighborhood. That does not exist.
You mean young Muslim girls
Not at
are
all.
not
That's
forced
not
by their
true.
families?
Listen to me. Can I answer your question? I think there may be people who wear a veil under pressure, but what I am telling you is that these people do not represent the majority. What you are doing is a generalization of this phenomenon, which is in fact isolated in order to stick this stereotype on all Muslim women who
Okay,
wear a veil.
we got it.
No, can you allow me to finish my point?
Your point is already clear.
It is clear, but it is not complete. I would like to add that when you associate the wearing of a veil with inequality between men and women, I feel oppressed. I do not understand this vision. Why do you think you are the ones who must define what freedom is for others?
In fact, every time she destroyed their accusations, they invented a new one. Now this journalist, supported by her colleague, thinks that the veil should be banned in public spaces in France because it shocks the French citizens, as if they had conducted a survey to question all people living in France. But Sara El Attar had an answer for them and quickly put them in their place.
Simplement, en France, si vous voulez, le voile heurte.
Here in France, the veil is shocking. The veil is an offense
did you
to the
conduct a
French
survey?
culture.
Do you agree that the veil is shocking?
Alors, je conçois qu'on ait des positions différentes. Et...
I understand that we have different positions, and that is also the purpose of this debate, to discuss between different positions. But I think it should be important to make a distinction between personal opinions and what the law says. Earlier you were talking about the values of the Republic, and I myself went to the school of the Republic where I learned the values of the Republic, which are equality, fraternity and living together. I was also lucky to have parents who taught me these values as well as values of sharing. So, the veil may shock you personally, but from that, making a law to prevent women from wearing it, I
think the veil should be banned in schools.
Okay, that is your point of view. If the veil is banned in schools, then what will be the next step? Will this law not go as far as preventing mothers who wear hijab from picking up their children from school?
El Attar did not stop there. She used this opportunity to denounce the media lynching in France, which aims to tarnish the image of Islam.
Vous disiez que 60% des Français, et c'est les chiffres que vous avancez.
You said earlier that 60% of French people were annoyed by the veil. That's your own statistic. But that doesn't surprise me given the media relentlessness. We Muslims represent less than a quarter of the French population, but we occupy more than 3/4 of the public debate. The question I ask myself is, how do you explain this imbalance?
Est-ce que vous expliquez cette disproportion?
What's your opinion about this debate? Do you really think that the Islamic veil should be banned from public space because it is something that annoys people of other faiths? Why are people only annoyed by the Islamic veil and not by the veil worn by some Jewish women or the veil worn by Catholic nuns? Please share your point of view in the comments. Thank you very much for your time. Assalamu alaikum.